Hi everyone, welcome to day 5 of our Yin Yoga Series for Wellbeing. This is our final day of the series. Today's theme is all about the hamstrings. We are going to be working on creating length and love in and around this region of the body. If this is your first day participating in this series, check out the comment section down below for more details. And when you're ready, find a comfortable seated position, perhaps closing the eyes, allowing yourself to detach from whatever was going on prior to this experience, and whatever tasks, objectives you have for afterwards. Honor this space that you have created for yourself as you choose to show up here to nourish the mind, the body, and the soul. Beginning to tune into the breath, simply observing, knowing that there's no need to try and change anything, no need to control anything. Okay friends, let's begin by warming up the neck, rolling the shoulders back, finding length through the vertebral column. From here, walking the left fingertips over to the edge of the mat, gently guiding the right ear towards the right shoulder. Noticing a beautiful stretch along the left side of the neck, perhaps the upper back, lowering the chin to the right collarbone, chin to chest. Inhale, return to center, placing the left palm on the thigh. And this time we'll walk the right fingertips out over to the edge of the mat, lowering the left ear to the left shoulder. You might notice a different sensation between both sides of the neck, knowing that that is okay. Chin to left collarbone, chin to chest. Inhale, return to center, placing the right palm on the thigh. And this time we'll walk the left fingertips out, maybe lowering onto the left forearm, side body stretch. Inhale to center. Exhale, bending over to the right. Doing your best to keep the sits bones connected to the earth. And again, flowing with the breath. Feeling a tremendous stretch along the sides of the torso, beginning to wake up the body. Breathing into any regions where you might be feeling a little extra sensation. And from here we'll turn to face the short edge of the mat, coming into Dandasana, staff pose, legs are extended. And we'll begin to point and flex the ankles, the toes. Keeping your palms on either side of the hips for support, you might like to create some circular movements with the feet. moving in one direction and finding several circles in the opposite direction. Separating the feet slightly, beginning to create some internal and external rotation with the hips. And from here, keeping the left leg extended, bending the right knee, placing your palm underneath the right thigh, beginning to inhale, extend the right leg, exhale, flex, inhale, raise the leg, exhale, return the sole of the foot to the earth a few more times. Doing your best to keep the torso elevated. We don't want to be leaning too far back, nor do we want to be hunching forward. This time keeping the leg extended. Breathe. Gently release. Roll the shoulders back. Interlacing the fingers under the left thigh. Inhale, extend. Exhale, lower. Just like this. Softening the shoulders. Softening the muscles of the face. This is a great exercise to practice in the morning to warm up the hamstrings. Once more, and on your next inhale, we'll keep that leg up and hold. Flexing that left foot to really engage the leg. Doing your best to straighten behind the knee. One more breath. Gently release. Well done. Setting up for our first posture of the day, we'll come into Shavasana, head to knee pose, bending the right knee, externally rotating the hip and placing the inner sole of that right foot against the left thigh. Hips are squared. Inhale, raise the arms overhead. Exhale, twist to the left and begin to hinge forward from the hips, so that we're aligning the sternum, the breastbone, with the middle of that left thigh. You might be staying upright, maybe lowering down onto the palms, perhaps lowering down onto the forearms. And if you're on your forearms, it might be nice to have your palms facing skywards, knowing that there's no need to force yourself into the posture. You can surrender entirely. And if it's okay to do so, maybe folding forwards entirely over that leg, allowing the belly, the chest to melt atop of the thigh, maybe resting your forehead, your nose on the shin, really allowing yourself to soften, using the breath as a guiding force to keep your awareness grounded in this moment. If the mind had begun to wander, simply guiding your awareness to this posture, to the breath, affording yourself another breath in this pose to completely surrender. And when you're ready, placing your palms under your shoulders, using core strength and the support of your arms to guide your torso upright, and gently re-extending the right leg, maybe finding some internal and external hip rotation or any movement that feels nourishing. And when you're ready, we'll set up for head to knee pose on the other side, taking your variation. If you're all the way upright, that is perfect. And if you're coming into a forward fold, know that that is okay as well. Really honoring what is right for your energy levels in this moment. Noticing if there are any narratives that you're beginning to tell yourself. Welcoming the silence and the stillness of this reflective practice. Breathe. offering yourself a few more loving breaths in this forward fold. And when you feel ready, placing the palms under the shoulders, gently pressing into the earth as you unroll the spine one vertebra at a time. Neck and head coming up last. Mindfully extending the left leg and again finding what feels good. Our next posture is going to be caterpillar, often referred to as Paschimottanasana or seated forward fold in Hatha Yoga. And in this variation, it's going to be a really passive stretch. So if you have tight hamstrings, bending the knees considerably, really allowing yourself to fold onto those thighs, coming into a spinal flexion. And if that feels okay, maybe beginning to extend the legs, lowering down a little more onto the earth, knowing that there's no rush, taking as much space and time as you would like to arrive in a stable posture. Maybe folding the torso entirely onto the legs. And if this is proving really inaccessible, you might like to prop your hips up on a few blankets, perhaps placing a bolster between your thighs and your chest to really support you in this nourishing pose. And when you're ready, settling in, allowing the experience to unfold as it is. Offering yourself 2 more loving breaths in Caterpillar Pose. Mindfully guiding the palms under the shoulders, pressing into the arms using core strength, and rolling up to a seated position. Well done. It might feel nice to invite some movement into the neck here. And when you feel ready, we'll turn to face the long edge of the mat as we set up for a few variations of Dragonfly Pose, also known as a wide-legged seated forward bend in Hatha Yoga, extending the legs outwards, grounding down through the heels, the toes and the kneecaps are facing skywards, and really opening your legs as far as you can without compromising your capacity to breathe, without compromising your capacity to feel at ease. When you're ready, we'll turn to frame the left leg, placing one palm on either side of the thigh. Maybe your practice today means staying upright. And if it feels okay, hinging from the hips, keeping length in the spine as you begin to walk the arms, the fingers out in front. And maybe folding forward over that leg. Again, it might be nice to have your palms facing skywards if you are on the forearms. Allowing yourself to melt into this posture. In addition to stretching the underside of the legs, you might notice a tremendous stretch in the side body, perhaps around the obliques, the outer hips on the right side, allowing yourself to breathe into this region. Breathe into the side ribs, the back body. Allow your neck, your head to soften completely. Breathe. Offering yourself one more loving breath in this variation of Dragonfly. And when you're ready, placing the palms under the shoulders, rolling up lovingly with intention. Remembering that the transitions between postures are equally as important as the postures. It's all about being mindful and non-reactive to your experience. You might like to sway the torso side to side, and when you're ready, turning to frame the right leg and folding into your variation of the posture. Again, knowing that it's okay to use props here if you'd like a towel under your hips, a block under your forehead. Find what feels good and surrender. Gifting yourself one more breath in this fold. Gently returning upright. Roll the shoulders back. Maybe swaying side to side. And from here we will come into a traditional forward fold. Inhale, raise the arms skywards. Exhale, hinging from the hips, lowering the arms down onto the mat, maybe staying upright, or beginning to walk the fingers out in front, lowering down onto the forearms. After pausing here for a few breaths, you might notice some more space in the mind, in the body. Maybe it feels okay to soften the neck. Create a pillow with the palms, resting your forehead on top of the hands. Breathe. guiding your awareness to this posture, to this experience, offering yourself one more loving breath in Dragonfly. And when you're ready, guiding yourself upright, lengthening the vertebral column. It might feel nice to bend the knees, fan the legs out, invite some mobility into the outer hips. Well done. Again, we will turn to face the short edge of the mat, ensuring that you have enough space behind you, bending the knees, soles of the feet down on the earth, placing the palms under the thighs, and we'll begin to roll down one vertebra at a time, coming down onto the back, guiding the heels in closer to the glutes, and bending the knees and bringing them towards the chest. It might feel nice to roll side to side, interlacing the fingers around the shins or the underside of the thighs. Relaxing the shoulders, creating space between the tops of the shoulders and the earlobes. And mindfully returning the soles of the feet to the earth. Keeping the left foot grounded, we'll guide the right knee to the chest, interlacing the fingers behind the thigh. Maybe staying here is enough. Or in your next inhale, gently extend that right leg skywards. Perhaps pointing and flexing that foot a few times, inviting some mobility into the ankle. You might like to grab a hold of the back of the calf muscle, the ankle, the thigh. Perhaps extending the left leg, keeping the left heel grounded, the left toes and kneecap are facing towards the sky, the hips are staying squared. If this is too much, you might like to use a strap and loop it around the underside of your right foot to help support you in this posture. Really seeing if you can relax your lower back into the earth. Breathe into the back of the hamstrings, the back of the knee. If you need to keep a considerable bend in that right knee in order to stay in this posture, know that that is okay. This is your experience. Honor what feels good for you. And surrender. Breathe. Guiding your awareness to this supine stretch, offering yourself one more moment to completely relax the hamstrings, the back body. And when you're ready, bending the left knee, returning the sole of the left foot to the earth, bending the right knee, guiding both knees to the chest, taking any movement that feels good. And we'll take this stretch on the other side, lowering the right foot down onto the earth, drawing the left knee into the chest, interlacing the fingers behind that left shin, maybe extending the leg, taking any movements that feel good, that help you ease into this posture. And when you're ready, breathing into this stillness, breathing into this newfound created space, and letting go. Offering yourself one more intentional breath in this posture, seeing if you can soften a little more. And when you're ready, bending the right knee, returning the right sole of the foot to the earth, drawing both knees into the chest, taking any movements that feel restorative. You might choose to stay in this supine pose or join us as we come into stirrup pose, often referred to as happy baby in Hatha Yoga. You might like to play around with extending one leg at a time, really getting deep into the backs of the legs, the groin, the outer hips. Maybe placing your fingers around the blade edges of the feet, the ankles, the inner thighs. We'll be in this posture for the next few breaths, finding your variation. Offering yourself one more breath in whatever variation of stirrup pose you have assumed. And for our next posture, we're going to draw our knees into the chest. We will be setting up for Snail Pose, often referred to as Plow Pose in Hatha Yoga. If this is too demanding for your energy levels for today, you're more than welcome to assume any posture of your choice. And when you're ready, extending the arms towards the end of the mat, using momentum to guide your hips up towards your torso, and beginning to extend the legs overhead, lowering the balls of the feet and the toes down onto the earth behind your head. Maybe interlacing your fingers together or keeping the arms extended. Seeing if you can create a line between the hips and the shoulders. If possible, straightening the backs of the legs. And you might also feel a tremendous stretch around the back body. Really lean into your experience. Although there is a minor constriction of the throat in this posture, we still want to be able to breathe with fluidity and ease. So if this is feeling like too much, know that you can definitely back out of the posture And when you're ready, finding stillness, breathing into your experience. Offering yourself one more loving breath in Snail Pose. And as we prepare to release from this posture, using core strength, using the muscles of the back, using the arms to press down into the earth, and when your hips lower towards the earth, bending the knees into the chest, being mindful to keep the lower back connected to the earth in this counter posture so that we can release any compression that might have occurred. Again, rolling from side to side might feel nice. Setting up for a supine spinal twist, crossing the right leg over the left, creating a figure four, guiding the hips to the right as we send the legs over to the left, maybe cactusing the arms as we gaze to the right. Doing your best to keep that right knee facing skywards, also keeping the shoulders in contact with the earth. Returning to center, uncrossing the legs, and we'll take this twist on the other side. If that felt really nourishing for you, knowing that you can absolutely pause the video here and hang out in these postures for a little bit. Join us when you're ready. Mindfully unraveling, uncrossing the legs, returning the hips to the center of the mat, and we'll set up for our final posture before relaxation, Waterfall Pose. We will essentially be extending our legs skywards, keeping the ankles, the knees, and the hips aligned. If this proves a little challenging, you might like to prop yourself up against a wall or use a bolster or a block under the sacral region of the spine to support you. Arms are extended the length of the body, palms facing skywards, giving yourself permission to soften, to surrender. And we'll be here for a few minutes, so if this unsupported variation feels like too much for the abdominals, for the hip flexors, know that it's okay to pause the video and set up near a wall or with props. Beginning to breathe, beginning to slow down, reconnect with your inner equilibrium. Gifting yourself one more breath in Waterfall Pose. When you're ready, bending the knees, drawing them to the chest, finding any movement that feels good. And you might like to join us in a bridge pose, finding a nice release for the hip flexors, grounding down through the feet, mindfully raising the hips, the lower back, the mid back, pausing for a moment at the top and lowering with control. One more round. And when you're ready, we'll set up for corpse pose, Shavasana, final relaxation. Gifting yourself as much space and time as you would like to get comfortable. Feeling your connection to the earth beneath you. Accepting the experience that is unfolding for you in this very moment. Noticing how you are feeling now and seeing how perhaps that might differ to what you were experiencing when you came into this class. Maybe you notice nothing at all. Whatever you experience, being okay with that. Allowing the emotions, the moods, the thoughts to come forth, to wash over you, and allow them to pass and let them go. Beginning to anchor your awareness on the breath. And finding stillness as we rest here for the next few minutes. If you would like to stay in Shavasana, I invite you to pause the video here. Be here for as long as you like. We'll close practice in this posture, affording yourself a moment of recognition, a moment of loving acceptance for showing up here today. And if you participated in this whole series, honoring the tremendous strength and courage that you demonstrated consistently arriving on the mat to reconnect with your inner peace, knowing that this series is always here for you. It is always available when you would like a moment to relax, to reconnect with your inner harmony. Thank you all so much for joining me and allowing me to guide you through this Yin Yoga series for well-being. I hope you have a beautiful day. Namaste.